The Nexus, episode 433, records live in 3, 2. Oh, I'm forgetting something very important. We need to alter our intro image for today. Now we're ready.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right.
Into the Nexus,
yeah, of course.
episode 433, records live in 3, 2, 1.
Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN.
Greetings and welcome back. This is Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I'm Garrett, here as always with Kyle. How you doing today, man?
Man, it's better than silence, I guess. Here we are at the end of all things.
You want to ask me how I'm doing?
How you doing? How you doing, man?
Oh, you know, I'm doing fine. I'm doing just fine. No big deal. It's just It's just another meant to be Thursday, Friday. You know, we're extending the season of this podcast by a day without warning.
That's true, and 40 minutes. You know, we ran a little late too, so we really milked that bar for all it's worth.
Oh yeah, it's 3:40 p.m. in Florida. It's close enough.
Man, what an ugly number 433 is.
It's funny you should. We never mentioned the number of the episode. Why are we even making any sense of that or making mention of that?
It seems, Garrett, you may have heard about a little thing called maintenance mode.
Oh, maintenance mode. That's the thing we've been assuming this game has been in for a while, because if you ask anyone at Blizzard about Heroes of the Storm, you are guaranteed never to hear from that person again.
Silence.
Yeah.
Silence. And the silence has been broken in an unsigned letter today.
It has. Here's the Storm is, they didn't even have the balls to say going into maintenance mode. They said, where is it? Right here. Moving forward, we will support heroes in a manner similar to our other long-standing games, StarCraft and StarCraft 2. Yeah. We don't even get the courtesy of being told to our faces it's going into maintenance mode. If you don't know what happened to those other games, you got to go, wait, what the shit happened with those other games? Let me go Google.
Here's the Storm has always
rejected labels. They make you go through effort to get sadder.
It's not a MOBA, it's a hero brawler. It's not maintenance mode. It's supported like StarCraft and StarCraft 2. This is all part of the
which are in maintenance mode.
In the future, we'll continue seasonal roles and hero rotations, and while the in-game shop will remain operational, there are no plans for new purchase content to be added. Future patches will primarily focus on client sustainability and bug fixing, with balance patches coming as needed. So, pretty clear what's happening here today. This was the big rumored announcement that you may have heard about, circling around after the CCL announcement, which we're going to get to as well today. So as we are alluding to, and we're going to talk about a lot today, this is the final Into the Nexus podcast. However, stay tuned. This very feed is where the new show will be. The fun that we've had on the show. If you've enjoyed this last year of this show, I don't think much is going to change. You know, the main course might change a little bit, but in general, 50%, maybe even 75% of the show is going to remain unchanged for you.
Yes, yeah, especially like this year. If you've enjoyed Into the Nexus in 2022, it has to be no surprise. I am sure you have noticed that we have gone outside of the Nexus for topics for the show. The truth is the game hasn't had an update since March. We are now almost halfway through July. It's been more than 3 months since there's been a meaningful update to Heroes of the Storm, which means this podcast really doesn't have a whole lot to talk about. We are not an esports podcast. We never have been. We do mention CCL, and we love having CCL guests on. But we're not going to become a esports results podcast. That ain't how we roll. We want to play the game, and we want the game. We like covering games that are frequently updated for the players and that aren't, just strictly an esports-a-palooza. So if you've enjoyed our vibing journey over the year 2022 of keeping the show going by branching out into Heroes and Blizzard adjacent universes, I think you're really going to dig what the show is going to become. Now, that being said, Kyle, I feel the need to be very straightforward with folks. All right? I'm not a PR manager. I'm not a copywriter, although I think I could do a better job than the letter that came out today. But I'm going to be straight with you. The timing's terrible. The timing is so bad. I am about to go to the Florida Keys for damn near 2 weeks. And so, the full transformation of what this podcast is going to become, it needs a little more time in the oven. You just give us a couple more weeks, but we're going to have some entertainment for you in the meantime. So if you are like me, honestly, and podcast ends and you unsub from it, totally get it. But if you like what Kyle and I put together, you enjoy us hanging out, we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep doing it on this feed, and we are going to have episodes for you over the next 2 weeks. They're just going to be a little bit different than what the final product of what we turn into the Nexus into is. And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone supporting the show over at patreon.com/ITN. That is the place to continue supporting this show, this product. We love making the show for you. We've had so much fun over the last 8 years. Oh my God. We'll get more memory heavy later on in the show. But endless thanks to everybody who supported the show and continues supporting over at patreon.com/ITN.
Yeah, thank you very much. Big thanks. Thanks to everybody over there. Huge thanks to our producers, Sean B. and Mike R. Y'all have been holding it down. Every single patron supporting the two of us, even as the show has had to adapt to a desert of content that Heroes of the Storm has become.
It's been interesting, for sure. When we started the show, when we were in the core of the show, we had come from StarCast covering StarCraft, which became extremely esports heavy. And we didn't want to do that with this show. We wanted to be about the home game because it is so drastically different, particularly because we had such well-defined leagues and metas. Blizzard created their own esports, and they pushed it very hard with a lot of money. Balance affected esports, and esports was what became our balance for a time. We didn't necessarily like that exchange, but it gave us content. The at-home game changed so frequently that the esports was an important part of the community, of the puzzle. And as you watch esports, you became aware of how your home game would change. Over 2022 here, CCL and our esports, whether it's Masters Clash or NGS, has greatly changed. Even without balance, they've evolved out of double soak and all these sort of terminologies we've been talking about all year long. But that hasn't affected our home game. We haven't brought esports back into the game. So to continue with these tournaments that are still going to be going would not service the show in the way we want to make it. And without balance, we can't have that show that we once loved for y'all.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, it's been a bit of a sticking point for me a lot of this year because I feel like the game has been balanced for CCL, which I'm uninterested in. Like it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect the grand majority, like your average mortal human being playing Heroes of the Storm. And so in that way, I was already kind of a little bummed. Like for a peek behind the curtain, like Kyle, you and I have had multiple conversations, especially in like the last 2 months about like, is it time? Because it simply because it was getting hard to put a show together. We still really freaking like the game, and I imagined we'll have many late nights playing Heroes of the Storm after this. And as I am certain some of you would love to hear, you would tune in just to hear me rage about that bad Junkrat game I'm going to have in the future. It it's not conducive to like making a show each and every week. So we've already been talking about this, and so it hilariously, when the CCL news dropped earlier this week about how they're not going to do their land that they promised, you and I started having a really serious conversation of, damn, is it over? Is it time? This kind of feels like it's time because the game hasn't updated in March, and then today we got this news. And so it was already kind of in our heads, and then so this just seems like the perfect time to evolve into the Nexus, into the next show that is, well, really at the end of the day, just a celebration of you and I and our bromance, if I'm being honest.
We've heard as much, yes. I would not purposely label it myself that, but I'm very glad that that is the community label it has received. It's been a blast being here. I am overcome with so many thoughts when we get into like just 8 years of Heroes of the Storm. This game is one that I evolved my career alongside. Like I was able to move away from a full-time job in downtown Chicago, move away from freelance ghostwriting and focus on Heroes of the Storm 24/7 for a time. It caused me to work out, get my own health in order because I learned what it takes to practice and improve. And that led to me wanting to become a dad and now a dad. Like it is so insane the experience I have had alongside this game. And the next people I want to thank are just all the random people I've ever met in solo queue. Like there is no outside of points or possibly a ban reason that you had to be good people, but you were. And I appreciate every single person I ever played alongside that gave it their all. I love this game. Just played another game last night, Artanis, last night, 1 a.m. or so, up thinking about this. Had a wonderful time. And I also want to thank everybody who ever signed up for lessons with me. Like that was a very big part of what I did throughout 2016-17 was I was a coach for this game. And replay reviews, live lessons. I had a packed schedule, particularly around Christmas. Like I was slammed. And it was absolutely amazing. Couldn't really explain it to, a lot of people what I did exactly, but yeah, it was
Dude,
wild.
that has been a staple of my life as well for similar reasons. This show and this game, for both of us, dude. You said 8 years, which is ridiculous. Like I realize we are older now. We are in our mid-30s. I don't think about that still. I still feel like I'm in my 20s. I feel very much kind of the same person with just, I know how to, function and how to pay bills and do taxes and stuff. That's about it. Like you say 8 years, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I could have gone to high school and gotten a bachelor's.
Yeah.
But you know what we became freaking adults on this show. We started it, and I had shortly after we started this show, because we 2014. Well, no, I had already moved back, but I was in this rental starter home with my girlfriend, and now that wonderful woman is my wife. We have our first home together. BlizzCon was part of our honeymoon, for Christ's sake, back in 2015. The amount of stuff that's happened. I started working full time from home, like you. Like oh my God, this show, the support of everybody on Patreon. This was right after I got married. So I got married end of 2015. And right before Christmas, I got a call from my then bosses. I had two bosses. They were married. It was horrible. I got a call from one of them, and they're like, hey, we can't afford to have you come in for 30 hours a week, which is, by the way, all they worked me because they didn't want to give me benefits. So they kept me right under that 40-hour mark.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We can't afford that. Can you just come in for like 12 and we're going to, reduce your pay to commensurate that? And I was just like, I looked at the support coming into this show on Patreon and also over on the Angry Chicken. And this show let me tell those horrible people that I worked for that I didn't need them anymore. That, I'm worth more than that. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think I You know what? I haven't thought about this forever. I actually called them back and I was like, I can be a contractor for you and I can do the shit you need me to do on my schedule and you can pay me this much. And they literally laughed at me. And I was like, all right, I'll see you later. I never
Wow.
talked to those bastards again.
Sure.
It was great. So I can't thank this community enough for that. I really can't. It has, when I say it's changed my life, like that's what it means to me. I was able to get out of a toxic work environment and hang out with my best friend every day and try to hone our craft of being entertaining around video games. Like I really couldn't ask for more. So thanks everybody.
Dude, to put the time passage in perspective, I started streaming in 2014 this game to show people what it was like to play the game at home. Like it was such a novel concept of streaming a video game solo queue. And people come by and like be like, whoa, my games look like this too. I can't believe it. This is insane. Like I thought like it was a wholly unique experience. Now you go online, you watch people video game, casual activity. In fact, there's a whole sort of meta to it and opinions about on what is a stream. Like just literally sharing the game at that time was novel, which I mean, kind of puts my mind in the old Blizzard sphere with Lashes, the community, the developers we had, the loot boxes we would receive in the mail, the T-shirts, just the absolute insanity that the Here's the Storm team fostered their community with. The yeah, there's the Nexomania mask, exactly.
I have an actual luchador mask. That is like some of the
Mhm.
ridiculous swag they used to send out. And this was my first. That was. I mean, that was both of our first real experiences with that, right? The StarCraft team basically pretended like we didn't exist when we were doing StarCast. We never really heard from them. We heard from a wonderful, wonderful man named Dina Yaila, or you might know him as Ixar, who now might be running things over at Hearthstone. He was in QA at the time, I believe, and he was just a fan of the show and just wanted to let us know. And that was the first Blizzard person we ever heard of while doing StarCast. And other than that, we had Kim Fan on our like third to last episode, and we did almost 200 episodes of that. So when I say like Blizzard didn't talk to us, Blizzard did not talk to us.
No. Well, we were a bunch of scrubs on the side and talking about some game that didn't matter because they were getting into esports and all that.
Yeah.
I think Here's the Storm just fostered such a large community because of the player base, because of the well-defined leagues, that you could have these conversations very deeply about the home game. Whereas, StarCraft, we all wanted to achieve the high end. Though I know I didn't want to put in the work to, do build orders and stuff like that. But then again, I was a young man. I was 25. I was rebellious.
God, no, man. Jesus. I've been watching GSL. Season 2 is freaking amazing, by the way. You should watch it. There's some amazing Zerg play. I've been watching it right now, and I'm just like, boy, I miss StarCraft. And then I think about any of the effort it would take for me to like not lose in bronze, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, man, it's this is the first show where I mean it was like in tandem with Angry Chicken for me, where we really got access to the developers and the and just Blizzard in general. And I got Heroes of the Storm, swag and stuff long before I ever got Hearthstone stuff. And also, Heroes of the Storm was the first time we ever got brought out to an event, like as press. Like we got to go to the preview event for Heroes 2.0. Like at the time, it was under extreme NDA, and I'm sure penalty of Lashes being very mad at you, and I wouldn't want Lashes to be mad at me. But dude, that's still one of my fondest memories of the all like, and we've been doing this since, like, if you count StarCast, we've been doing this for 11 years. We started in 2010, but that is still one of my fondest memories of all this weird shit that we make. Because it was the first time, like, it's an overused phrase, but they made me feel like a rock star. Like, they bring you out, they throw you in a hotel, they bring you out to some cool space that they booked, and you get like unlimited access to the game. Like, I had never done anything like that before.
No.
It's cool as hell. It's exactly as cool as it sounds.
Well, and the fact that we were respected as a part of the community, as a journalistic outlet, and one that needed to receive the proper messaging was just crazy. It's very easy for fan podcasts to get ignored, passed on, particularly when there are esports related endeavors in other shows. But we were there with all the other podcasts, Lords of the Storm. We were there with Core. Uh, I mean, we got to hang out with all the casters of back in the day during that, and it was phenomenal. And that piped right into a fully invited out BlizzCon where we streamed on stage from the actual event, had our dev interviews and everything taken care of for us.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think about that too. Also because it was that was bittersweet because that was 2018. That was the final HGC. We just didn't know it. Like we didn't. I wish I had known. I mean, I did go watch the finals, and I'm so glad I did. But I wish I knew that I wouldn't be able to have that experience again. And up until very recently, I thought I was going to have a chance to have that experience again, and that was also taken away from me. So good job, Wisdom Media, Gaming, whatever the shit your name is.
The CCL situation is regrettable, particularly given that the LAN won't be happening, and so much of the excitement around the evolving meta that we've seen CCL present was based on being in an environment with no ping. But after their initial announcement earlier this week, there were several statements made, particularly by Gillyweed, that cited things such as extenuating circumstances. There was some other factor in the wings that was influencing their decision, not just money, which led me to kind of poke around and ask around some of my CCL friends, and they all had this word of a rumor, even an NDA, upon the Wisdom staff. Apparently, this announcement was delayed multiple weeks. Uh, CCL was coordinating alongside Blizzard to make sure that their balance patch, this is all hearsay, by the way, but enough sources to kind of confirm it. CCL was working with Blizzard to make sure that a balance patch didn't come out during their playoffs. Nice and healthy, that would be the reason perhaps for the delayed balance.
You say
that
healthy,
we're still
I say gross. I don't care. Like I play there are more average Joes playing the game than there are people in the CCL.
Right, but if esports is feeding balance and balance feeds esports, and that would affect our home game and the esports on display being the CCL, I agreed with it. And I thought it was a pretty good call. But apparently, sometime during those talks, this balance we're still waiting for, perhaps. No confirmation on that. The words of Blizzard kind of sound like they might do balance based on bugs rather than actual balance. But at some point, that conversation became perhaps we don't know if there's going to be a balance patch, or we're delaying the season roll, but NDA, y'all, we're not really sure what's happening over here quite yet. And that influenced them to cancel the LAN for financial reasons.
Yeah, I don't get, like, even if they knew it was going to go into maintenance mode, like, what does that matter? Like, the game's going to still be up. Like,
it would have been nice to have the final hurrah.
I think it's bullshit. I think the whole thing's bullshit. I don't trust Wisdom anymore. I don't. This just looks like a super easy out to not spend the money on the community that helped build their brand up. Like, this is a really easy excuse to me. I don't buy it. I don't freaking buy it. So I'm out. I'm not interested in what Wisdom's selling.
It's safe to say that the new show we're talking about on this very feed will not be esports based. We have experienced a lot of esports over the last 10 years and have certainly experienced many of the business transactions that happen alongside of it.
Yeah, listen, we were let down by the company that makes the game, and now we're being let down by the quote unquote community that was, trying to pick up the baton and carry it forward. So, like, I get it. It's it's you don't want to spend money on something that's losing money, but I don't care. Like,
Wisdom is an entity, and they recently acquired a new president. I would be sad if people place this upon Workhorse, though, because Workhorse is extremely passionate about this game and wanted to create a league and continue Here's the Storm esports after HGC was canceled, and did that and joined a company that would allow him to continue to innovate those ideas. I have loved working alongside of them. I love doing the halftime interviews. I've loved the content we've made alongside tournament players over on their YouTube. And I'd be happy to continue that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't get a vibe that this is on anyone from Heroes Hearth, but I don't trust leadership and wisdom. That's where I'm landing.
There's a lot. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's no reason to trust anything at Blizzard either in that regard. Like, there is a lot of financial decisions being made in the face of raw passion that does take advantage of a community when we go to the high end. Even this letter today from Blizzard directly is stale.
Oh, it's trash, dude. It's
allow
absolute dog shit.
Allow us to pick at it a little bit.
Yeah,
but as a token of our
call
appreciation.
This. Can we call this mental Mordor? We'll go back to the Shire. We'll get to the Shire, I promise, because I've seen a lot of people like furious about this news, which I get. But like I think I have a lot of positive thoughts. Looking back at everything. But right now, while we're in mental Mordor, Blizzard, y'all fucking suck at communication. I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know at what point, but they, like, why do you keep shitting on Heroes fans? Like, why? Like, the Jail and Brack letter was one of the most harmful pieces of shit I've ever read in the history of, like, games communication from a major studio. Like, you go back to that, and the way it was worded made everyone think that the game was dead, and it had a detrimental effect on the community of this game, which, on the positive side, was great. Was great for the last 4 years. 2022 is a little rough, but we still got updates. And now, your big goodbye is this? It's this? There's nothing here. It is empty. It's like an AI wrote it.
I mean,
it's a metaphor for Blizzard as a whole, who has lost they've lost the narrative. They've lost sight of themselves. And yeah, here we stand with, hey, thanks for the last 8 years. We say, quote, thank you. Cool. Thanks. Like, at least try.
What about the incredibly rare epic arcane lizard mount to all players with next week's patch?
And now you're just trying to rile me up.
I think that is just an absurd statement. It was in the wings. To put it on the season roll would mean that you're somehow promising future mounts with other seasons. Like, I get that it was ready to go. Certainly, the Reddit has plenty of data mine things that they're like, Blizzard, just put them out.
Chat saying, can I offer you a lizard in these trying times?
The quotes around thank you are bizarre. You continue to be one of our most passionate communities. We're grateful for your continued dedication and support. And as always, we look forward to seeing you in the Nexus. Like, no real mention of like the blood, sweat, and tears that developers even had for this game. Like, they were taxed.
They barely acknowledge the community in this letter, and they don't acknowledge the people that kept working on this game after leadership tried to kill it.
And then to not even declare the maintenance mode part of it, to not even put out a tweet alongside of it. Like, the dirty part always about the J. Allen Brack letter was that it wasn't for the fans at all. It was for investors, people who didn't play video games, to look at it and go, good, excellent, the beans are in the right cups. But they spoke so strongly of their dedication to income that they killed Heroes early. Whether they meant to or not, they destroyed Google searches. You can't search on Google Heroes of the Storm without the very top suggested question being, is Heroes of the Storm dead? And the description there highlighted will say yes.
Thanks, Jab.
So they want this one to be a little more under the radar. They want it to be a little quieter, and people on the outside would say, oh yeah, it probably was already in maintenance mode, and just sort of make the assumption there. They're trying to avoid the highlights, the bad press on a game that they don't want to put the effort into. Yeah.
This episode will probably include the most swearing we've ever had. I agree with Chad. Someone in the chat saying it just feels like a big fuck you, and it does. It sort of in a way feel like that. And I don't. What do you do, right? But I don't know. Maybe try. Would have been nice for one letter in the last 4 years of Blizzard to feel human. But I don't know. It's just kind of It's so strange. There's this weird dichotomy of my relationship with Blizzard where like I'm super stoked on the teams that make the games and I absolutely hate every leadership decision that the company makes.
Absolutely. I love the statement that AZ Jackson put out today on Twitter, saying that he was disappointed with the overall message and giving his own. Like, we had AZ Jackson on the show multiple times. Their balance fed content to this show and to the game. It was inspired, it was interesting, it was nuanced. We constantly saw new projects, new ideas out of AZ Jackson and the team at that time. And those even continued with Rajar afterwards. Like, we saw a lot of ingenuity. Bugs started sneaking in probably because hours were getting cut, not because of some error being made by the developers. Just, you're going to get a picture of a horse, as you may have seen, and it might be a stick figure if you give them enough time. Like, that's just the nature of work.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think I even said this much on social media. I think post-HGC Heroes of the Storm is the best the game ever was. Like, I have different points in that meta that I prefer, but they built the game for the players and not for the esports. And I loved everything about that. I really did. And it seems insane to look back on because I still remember when that letter came down. Our videos around somewhere of us because we were in the middle of recording when that letter went out, so we had a raw reaction to it. And yeah, man, we were terrified. We're like, shit, I guess it's over. I guess it's time to find a new game. And we kind of just kept going because we were enjoying playing the game. We're like, well, we'll just keep making the show until it is properly dead. And just the game kept getting updated and it kept getting more interesting and reworks and new heroes. And the back half, I have fonder memories of.
Dude, to be perfectly honest, to tell a very personal story in light of that, man, like, this was my Wild West, like, full on in the covered wagon, dysentery grandma, like, shooting the buffaloes for meat because you love that part of the mini game, Oregon Trail style. Like, that, I found out that I was having a kid right after that HGC announcement cancellation. Like, that was my future. Christmas lights are in the background of that video as we got on my stream, Kristen and I, and we talked to the community about how we were going to stay around. We were going to see what was going to happen. And 2019 being the year my son was born, like, it was insane. And to have the game be that healthy, like, we went to a cadence, to use their word, that was the most healthy we've ever seen for the game. 3 heroes or what have you, a balance patch once a month. It just felt good rather than the absolute insanity that came before it. Every 2 weeks balance, hero every 2 weeks, even for a time. Like, the game was in such flux, you couldn't breathe. Mismanagement on both sides in that regard, like taxing the workers at Blizzard to create content that was too fast for the fans, while also supporting an esport that was unsustainable.
Everyone I've ever talked to that works at Blizzard is too good at their job to, I'm sure, be that real. But yeah, I feel like I always saw it in their eyes. It was like, yeah, that really sucked. Like, it always felt like that when I would talk to devs, after the HGC cancellation. I don't know. It was just always this like, yeah, but man, they killed it. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's where I'm mentally leaving Mordor now, and that's what I'm looking at. Like when I see, like, because I'm angry, clearly, dropping the F-bomb. There's things I'm super pissed about. But when I stop and think about it, like, it is insane that we had this almost 4-year run after the cancellation of HGC that we had. Like, that's bonkers. The fact that oh my God, yeah. So I was on the Instance for years until we ended that show. And it was really funny in the beginning times of that, getting to rip on my good friend Patrick Beja, who's a giant Overwatch nerd, who would have a quick comment about Heroes of the Storm being dead, and I'd be like, yo, we've had like 6 updates since your last one in Overwatch, so I don't know what you think a dead game is. Like, it just became a running gag on the show, and now it's a meme. Up until like last week, I would still say, well, at least we get more updates in Overwatch. And it's just like, I don't know. We don't know because no one talks to us anymore from the team, and I don't mean like us. Like this isn't personal. Nobody knows what the hell's going on inside of Heroes of the Storm,
Right.
except for CCL apparently. I have no idea, but like I assume it was just down to an absolute freaking skeleton crew, and they were probably sharing talent from the team that also works on all of the other quote unquote classic games, even though they dissolved the classic name, but it doesn't make sense because there's still a team that works on all those games. I really don't know what happened. From the outside looking in, it really did seem like Here's a Storm continuing to get updates from 2018 until now. I don't think we would have gotten it if there weren't Blizzard employees that wanted to keep it going, that felt passionate. I don't know. I've always gotten a vibe that everything that happened post HGC was like really a labor of love and internal passion from developers and other team members at Blizzard Entertainment. And I don't know if that's true or not. I hope I'm somewhat in the ballpark. But what I'm really trying to say is to everyone at Blizzard who kept this game going, like, thank you. This game has been freaking awesome for the last 4 years. And yeah, it's mind blowing to me to think back on it. Like to think about the other juggernaut games at Blizzard and not at Blizzard that were considered like that didn't have that stigma of maybe it's dead over it. And they didn't even come close to the frequency of updates that HOTS got.
I think it's well highlighted in AZ Jackson's statement where they said, I still love playing this game and in a perfect world would still be happily working on it today. We both worked in corporate spheres, and I did downtown corporate America, app services and all that sort of thing. The creatives are left in the dark. Like that's the nature of things. You want your artists happy and oblivious a lot of times to the perhaps financial things you're going to do to their game and for the inner workings and plans. So that's why I find myself happy about this letter today for all of us, the community and the devs, because now we at least have that answer. I can imagine nothing being worse than sitting there watching CCL, seeing Blaze charging again for max damage and being like, I got to do something about that. Wanting to run down to the computer, to stylistically describe it and enter a balance patch and being told, no, you simply cannot. You must not put any hours into that game as a corporate decision. We're not allowing that. Even though your lunch break, your passion, what have you, could have serviced this game further. It's coming from the top. And there was an unrelenting amount of passion. And maybe we were all young too in that way, gave a lot of ourselves to the game. Many of the Heroes of the Storm devs have gone on to great success. We know a lot of League of Legends crew is still working over there. We see a lot of mobile games coming out today from the old teams. Like a lot of them are working on other projects as well, as AZ Jackson highlights here.
Yeah, well, we know Adam's over on Diablo 4 freaking designing classes, which excites the living hell out of me because that demo was forever ago now. I mean, we're talking pre-COVID when that D4 demo was playable at BlizzCon, and it was great. That was a good demo. And that was long before a bunch of the, like, because there's multiple Heroes developers over on D4 now. And that really excites me. I really like Diablo. If you follow me or we talk, whether it's Discord or you're on a podcast with me like Kyle or Twitter or whatever, I'm not a mobile player. I have not been enjoying the newest releases from Blizzard. And I'm not a big Overwatch guy either. So like right now, Blizzard doesn't have a whole lot for me outside of Hearthstone. But dude, I'm stoked for D4. And especially knowing that there's HOTS DNA over there.
Right, and maybe more than we know. I mean, there are other statements here about AZ Jackson working alongside some of his old colleagues. Their final statement here should have been a part of the main letter. Like, should have just copy and pasted this. But
What?
even though many of us have moved on to other things, I know Heroes has a special place in our hearts, and that makes us family. I eagerly look forward to the day when I can once again give you something that I'm proud of as Here's the Storm. Hell yeah, man. Like that's the messaging we should be receiving from Blizzard, that this is a game that they were immensely proud of. It was. This is many people's first MOBA because it broke down the genre into something more enjoyable during a time of the really explosion of guides and required metas. They created something that could be more fluid. It was an amazing game. It is still. Like, to say that the game is over, that's not true. You can go play. I'll keep playing. But if your hopes lie with Microsoft, that's 2023. That's not going to work for the show. If your hopes lie with NGS coverage and Masters Clash, or possibly, we still don't have official word, but possibly another CCL, that's not going to work to create this show, because this show is a place of passion. And we look forward to continuing that too, of course. But
Oh, yes.
let's be happy for the great times we had as well here with Heroes of the Storm.
Like I said, I can't stress enough how I didn't see the last 4 years coming. I mean, I didn't see any of this coming, but the last 4 years have been a particular surprise.
It's interesting. It's an ever-changing landscape in that way. I love getting to talk to AZ Jackson throughout that. All of our many, many guests. Bahamut. We've had McIntyre. Just endless guests on this show that was financed by our Patreon as well. You all made sure we were able to pay those guests for their time. Like, you allowed us to treat this scene with the professionalism it deserved. These were hardworking people. Still to this day, people put out guides and want this game to succeed. Right now, there's Grubby's streaming. We're all extremely passionate about this game.
And making jokey images of us burying a tombstone.
Sure. Well, technically, we were right on brand because it was kind of zoomed in the first one. Like they used to do the old Heroes reviews.
Yeah.
It was like a little claw mark from Dahaka, and then it slowly zoomed out. Or eventually, it was like the minion that Mal'Ganis was holding, which was kind of a weird one. But, I was still into it. I really wanted Mal'Ganis. I'm happy he's in the game.
Just going to bring that up over the logo for the video audience. There you go.
And to my previous point, like, we still have that dev interview from 2020 where they were just like, no end in sight, triple digits heroes on the list. Like, what a relief this is to know that we're in maintenance mode in that way. We're finally here. No more guessing.
Yeah. That I hate not knowing. And they're just, I would say the communication's been bad, but there just hasn't been any communication. So it's nice to just know the state of things. And so, yeah, I'm just, I don't know, I'm so mad. We were going to do this anyway. I just like this game so much, man. And I just feel like, I feel betrayed, as I think is shared by quite a few people today.
Yeah, no, the game got robbed. Like, there's many ways to describe this. It was a change of just the way corporations were going to treat video games. And Here's the Storm through 2.0 into loot boxes and everything that we saw happen with that cash shop. Like, they didn't know either how to make a game free to play. It was a Wild West, in addition to my analogy earlier. And there were many missteps. Could they have been fixed? Absolutely, but we became the poster child of fixing things for the corporate entity. Look what we're willing to delete at our roller coaster tycoon.
We will sacrifice all of Heroes of the Storm for the almighty stock price.
Dollar, what have you? Like, they're doing all right in short term, so hey, that's the way things are gonna work. It will be hard to put that much faith in a game again. Naturally, like this was a growing point for us both. I wouldn't expect that level of dedication going forward on this show to any particular product, but there will be things, of course, we find passion in.
Yeah, and we've already found some.
Absolutely, we're having a great time playing Final Fantasy 14. Like, we're really enjoying that product we're making over on Grinding Gear right now. I am playing a lot more games than I used to, which is very enjoyable. It's a time of evolution and discovery.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to play a lot of Heroes of the Storm. They made a very particular version of MOBA that I find most enjoyable.
I agree. I've tried other things. There's core tenets of other MOBAs I can't get past. We've talked about it at length on this show. Things like
Over
last
the years,
hitting.
yeah.
Like I don't like it. Sorry, Wild Rift is great, but it has last hitting, and I can't stand it. I really can't. So, Yeah, Heroes is. I'm just gonna play this game in this state of stasis. You know, if someone would please delete Junkrat on their way out the door, that'd be great. Really appreciate it. Who got away with murder, by the way? Like, think about it. Like, if balance never changes again, who absolutely made out like a bandit, getting like a buff right before the finish line, and also who got absolutely boned? Who got horribly nerfed and is probably gonna suck forever now as a result?
Li Ming might, in the casual spheres, just because that lane clear business.
Yeah, Li Ming never getting lane clear back that sucks.
But who knows? Li Ming might actually survive. Like as the pro scene becomes less represented in people's eyes, there might be a world where lane soaking slowly dies off, and we go back to everybody just mid lane and forever. And hey, like then Li Ming's great. No one's got a lane clear nothing in that world. So I think Blaze is doing really well. I think our tank situation might be a little stale going forward, but it's okay. I do think that the game is in a pretty nice balanced state for the home game. And chat's bringing up their own ideas here, like, Sergeant Hammer being busted. Like that might continue to be a mystery unless you're listening to this show.
Yeah. It was a while ago, but Anna never really recovered. That's one that I think of.
Yeah.
Poor, you know what, Kyle? Not to make it all about the negative, but I've got a pretty big one. You know who never got his due?
Arthas?
Yeah.
Arthas. Never.
Arthas is one of the lamest heroes in this game.
Yeah, just alpha style to the end. I mean, granted, there was the brief time, with a little bit of death coil build and some enjoyment there.
Thank you to our, that. I was thinking back to HGC days. Thank you to our South Korean teams for showing us how to Arthas back then.
Never really got it. Raider got a nice update, though. He's decently snazzy.
He's better now. It was a little rough going there for a hot second, but, I think it's Rhaegar got away with murder. Even after the nerf,
sure.
Rhaegar's still doing amazing. Tracer, honestly, didn't nerf her enough. She's going to be just fine moving forward. If you can play him, Samoro. Samoro's just going to... There's going to be like 7 Samoro players just terrorizing people for the rest of time in this game.
That's where I get really sad about the LAN getting canceled, because we saw some Maiev, but we were going to witness some crazy melee DPS, ones that have not really contributed at all across the CCL season here with that no ping. And we're just not going to get that chance.
Oh my God. AZ Jackson is in chat. Says, I have to say it. On my way out, I had a full Arthas rework designed and tested with a fully functional Gorfine's Grasp as a new trait. Oh my God.
Ooh.
Say it ain't so. I think I'd rather not know that.
Dude, triple digit heroes, man. Like, there was a lot on paper for this game.
Oh my God. Adam, thank you for telling us that, honestly. Oh my God, though. But I'm going to cry after this, though. I want you to know I'm going to cry into my pillow tonight, and it's your fault.
I do think Nazeebo is just super solid forever. Like, he never will find his true CCL or tournament play place, but he will continue to haunt all quick matches till the end of time.
Sorry, who was that? I'm still laughing about Arthas.
Nazeebo.
Oh, Nazeebo, yeah. But honestly, I look at that as like legacy. Like, that feels right. Nazeebo has always haunted quick match, and he should always haunt quick match. A QM without Nazeebo wouldn't feel right to me. Wouldn't feel right to me. Are you going to just stand around scratching your head about how does Melganis have such a high win rate, but I don't win with him for the rest of the time? Is that what's going to happen?
Those are drafted statistics. I have no idea how those are going to shake up over the coming weeks. I'll be very curious in a month's time what win rates look like for this game. I expect a lot of people are going to close in and stop digesting as much content, and a meta will evolve inside the community that will probably be extremely different than what we've seen in the past.
That is true. That could totally happen. And it's not like all esports are over. There's still plenty of leagues going and running, and those are the kind of things that can really help shape and reshape the meta as other things are figured out. That's a very good point. And can I do a plug? This is shameless.
Yeah. No, do it.
As long as Hotslogs pays for its own server fees, I'm keeping it going. Like it's not going anywhere.
It's a great website.
Yeah, what will Hotslogs become? That's what I'm talking about. It's fine. It's Hotslogs is fine at the moment. So it's all it needs to do is pay for its own damn server. Happy to keep it running as long as it pays for its own server costs. Which at the moment, not looking like there's a risk of that happening. We'll see. I'm sure there'll be a bit of a dip with in light of today's news. But I don't want this to be a shill, but like in all seriousness, like that website lives and dies on your replays. So if you continue to play, please continue to upload to hotslogs.com. I'd really appreciate it. And our very small team would really appreciate it.
Speaking of things that happened in the past, that was an awesome thing to get for the show. Like to keep Hotslogs alive and do all our statistics business over the last 3 years.
Dude, I can't believe it. Like, that's still weird. Like I still go to it and use it, and I don't think about the fact that I'm one of the owners. Like I don't think about it a lot. I'm just like, holy crap, look at that. Yeah, that's right. Like if I notice like a bug, I'm like, oh, I can do something about that. Mostly talk to someone more talented than me and inform them of it. But yeah.
Absolutely wild.
Shout out to Aviad and shout out to Daryl, because it's two dudes that program this site and keep it going. So it's wild.
Another way this show survived, continue to make content for y'all. It was incredible getting to do this show. I've got such a head full of memories. So many metas. 3 trips to Masters. I wish there had been more.
What were the 3 heroes? Raynor,
Tychus,
Tychus,
Uther, and Cassia.
That's right. Okay, so your last one was Cassia. That makes sense.
All right before nerf, so I rode something special there. But
hey, that's called playing the game.
Yeah, no, it was enjoyable, man.
Oh, hey, Daryl's hanging out in chat. Daryl, what are you doing subbing?
Absolutely wild.
That's crazy, dude. There's so many nutty things have happened. If I had more time, I would have loved to have grabbed some photos, like Kristen's sick ass Sonya cosplay she put together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good one.
She made it into the reel for the rest of the weekend for BlizzCon that year, right?
Yeah, she was cheering there in the crowd.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know that, yeah, Kristen made a Sonya cosplay, went on day 1 to HGC in it, and then they used a clip of her in the crowd for the rest of the weekend, like as a stinger when the next round would like fire up and stuff. It was hilarious. I'd be walking around BlizzCon that Saturday, and I'd be like, Kristen's huge. Just on a big screen somewhere, just this massive angry barbarian.
Dude, I mean, I streamed 3 hours. There was a time there, Chris and I together, co-streaming, 3 hours, 4 days a week, just heroes.
You remember when you got banned?
I do remember when I got banned, yes, for having an open shirt and Kristen being in a swimsuit for the Suns Out, Guns Out event.
Which is very funny when you consider what you can do on Twitch now.
Modern Twitch, it seems absolutely insane that we received any sort of ban out for that. Like, what a absolute
and
trip
then
that is.
Kyle did Into the Nexus on a move without thinking about it, which was a big no-no, because if you were timed out and you appeared on someone else's channel, then it was a ban. And then they banned your channel. And luckily, thank you, Twitch, they reverted that. But, oh, that was scary.
Yep, for 2 weeks there, I couldn't appear on any streams, so we recorded offline because I would have been dodging my ban and that sort of thing. Absolutely insane in that way.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. Hey, next time you visit, I have an actual hot tub though, so we should do a hot tub stream.
There we go. I mean, we just label it correctly. As long as we're in the water, it seems doable. I haven't really looked into the rules much.
We can go to the beach.
We stream on YouTube now. Like it's a different beast over there.
Yeah, which we'll probably do the new show over there, by the way.
Yeah, so some people are showing up late. Well, let's go. We'll get kind of back to rephrasing what we said here for the live
Yeah,
crowd.
let's get into it. So we're not ready to announce the name of the new show because I am going to be out of town for the next 2 weeks. Kyle, you and I are going to have a recording session where we're going to talk a little bit more about kind of what's happening here. One episode's going to be about what it's like changing games because it's a scary thing, and also it seems like a lot of you find that interesting. So we're going to put out an episode kind of about our podcasting career and what it's like whenever we got to change games, because this is for you and me only the second time we've done that. You know, we swapped from StarCraft to this, and now we're going in another direction. And then we're going to put out another one that's just going to be a fun episode that I think you all enjoy. So we're going to call it Garrett and Kyle's Podcasting Vacation. 2 episodes of that are going to drop while I'm out of town. And then once I'm back, we're going to launch the proper new podcast, and it's going to be on the Into the Nexus feed. So for you who are subscribed, don't unsub. We're just going to rebrand this feed and keep y'all right here. Because again, I'm going to be honest, we went back and forth on it. We figured if you're still listening and we barely talk heroes on the Hero Show anymore, you probably just like what we do. And we're going to keep doing that. So, yeah, but we just need a little more time in the oven. But should be a really obvious tease to say if you're enjoying grinding gear as well, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Well said.
And also, if you want to keep supporting us, feel free to stay on the Patreon because we're going to use that for our next project. No need to evacuate patreon.com/ITN. If you do want to go, though, don't feel bad. Don't stick around out of guilt or anything like that. If you're like, I was here for heroes and heroes only, totally understand. We get it. You don't need to feel bad. So, and hopefully we give you enough time too. So, yeah, no, we're going to be rebranding everything. The feed's going to get redone. New art, new name. Feed will be rebranded. Patreon will be updated. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, giving a little peek behind the curtain there, because that might seem like an odd practice. Podcasts don't have analytics. There's nothing to compete with in the YouTube sphere, and suggestions like podcasts are found because people subscribe to them and because people look up the show they want to find because they heard about it somewhere else.
Speaks Without Breathing thinks we should call it The Instance.
I mean, the name's available. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
Hey, I'll text Scott, right? Hey, Scott, can we have your old feed?
Plus, if we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy 14 in any capacity, it'd be called The Duty, which I'm not going to call the show that.
No. But I also, expect us to kind of explore multiple different directions in the future. It's probably not going to be game specific. So, yeah.
I wouldn't even say like we've been hurt before, anything mad like that. It's just merely that we've been at this a long time. And game-specific content has changed dramatically. I do not see a future world where even community managers possibly exist in the capacity they did when we started the show.
Well, they haven't in Heroes of the Storm for a long time.
What an absolutely insane time that was, man. I just can't get over it.
Yeah, Duty Roulette would be a good name for a Final Fantasy podcast. That would be a good thing. Listen, Final Fantasy will 100% be a part of our new podcast. It's not going to be a Final Fantasy only podcast at this time.
Exactly.
Who knows? We might look at the numbers and go, "Oh shit, course correction time." But
yeah, no, we'll set up a channel in the Discord for those of you supporting us over on Patreon.com. We'll be talking about, tell us what games you're playing. Like, there's going to be a lot of conversation over these next 2 weeks. Also, hey, shout out to Ross, who just became a new producer for the show.
What?
During this episode. So
oh my God.
Thank you so much.
I don't have the inbox open. I didn't get the notification. Ross, that's wild. Thank you so much. So you will, just to warn you, you will get dinged for this episode. So just so you know. Yeah, geez. That's awesome. That's to be honest, the first new patron we've had in like 2 months. Growth
has been a trip over there, yeah.
Growth hasn't been great lately. It's been mostly, and like shout out to everyone. Like thank you for leaving exit surveys, because I'm always worried. Like, oh, did I say something? Every single exit survey has been not playing HOTS anymore, which I totally get. Like, totally understand that. So, yeah, dude, I'm so stoked for what's next. We were talking in our Discord, and You know what? Let me look this up real quick because I don't want to misspeak. But there was an interesting question. There was an interesting question that I answered in there, but I kind of want to talk about it here too. Here it was. Access said, "Are you guys relieved? You can finally move on to other things. It's obvious you both still love the game dearly, but it must be a weight off your shoulders." And I just think that's it's interesting to think about that because I replied there, and I'll say it here that like we would have stopped if we were miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were not miserable. That I hope that came across in the episodes. Like there was the moving pieces in Heroes Storm always interested me. Like I know we couldn't talk about it with the carefree capacity of the past. It was always a ping of sadness when someone was like, "Hey, what hero would you like to see in the game?" You kind of go, I don't want to, I don't want to guess and get my hopes up."
Oh
But
yeah, dude. That's probably been the hardest part is because we there's so much optimism, and I don't want to talk about it like it's a bad thing or like you're delusional or anything. But that kind of stuff would come in a lot, and we would just kind of elect to not talk about it because like we were both like, I don't think there's gonna be another hero. And that's just a bummer answer. We want to keep it fun. We want to keep having a good time. So, yeah. No, that's to me. It's like I previously said. We were already talking about doing this, right? Like before we knew, because we didn't know this was happening today, but we kind of got a vibe, a feeling, because of the stuff with the CCL, and we're like, it's probably time. It's not the best timing in the world because I'm going to be out for 2 weeks, and we want to keep going. And I really wish. My only big regret is like I wish it wasn't going away at this exact moment because I would love to like this be the last episode. The next episode, bam, this is the rebranded Garrett and Kyle podcast. It's gonna happen on Thursday, same time. We're gonna still be coming to you weekly. I would love to flip the switch immediately, but we're gonna have a little podcast vacation with you in the meantime while the new show cooks. I love all of the people trying to workshop a new version of ITN. Intergalactic Terrarium Nitrous, Intuitive Talks Now. I like Intuitive Talks Now.
sounds very Help Network. I don't know about that. We are not licensed
negotiations. Oh, I say everybody. It's just Weege. Weege just determined to stick ITN. You guys planning on going to the 2023 in-person BlizzCon? I would go.
That's a big question. We'll see about that.
Yeah, if honestly, it just comes down to finances. I've said some pretty harsh things about Jalen Brack. I don't think I'm getting invited on Blizzard's dime.
But he's not there anymore. It's fine. You haven't riding Mike Ybarra or anything. I mean, granted, they don't answer anything about HOTS, but I'm not mad at them for that.
I think there was a reason for that. Overall, I think Ybarra seems all right.
Honestly, at this point, I need to see the survival game come out and just be a game, like no strings attached. Just sell me a game. And then Diablo 4 to release without any sort of whisper of developers being like, I didn't do that. I didn't put that cash out there. No one told me this was going to happen.
Which, by the way, I was, they should have made all the heroes free.
On their way out.
Yep.
Yeah. I think there's people who would feel cheated, perhaps, that the Smurf situation would get worse. But I think restructuring, maybe even increasing the size of the free-to-play rotation, like put it in a state of pasture. And that's often said with such malice. I mean, like actually in farming, where you have a much beloved horse that you love so much, but their back is going, and you just want to see them eat grass and have fun. And you'll take them out in the turnstiles, and you'll rope them, and they'll go around, they'll buck and kick, and maybe they'll give little kids rides. But like, that horse has done their duty. They won their blue ribbons. Let them enjoy it.
It's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. It's said with such malice sometimes. The same with maintenance mode, right? Like, there is a long, long tradition of Blizzard supporting their old products and keeping the servers on.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not concerned about that aspect.
I'm watching the shit out of StarCraft 2 GSL right now. Like, this season's amazing. Got a third season coming this year. It's been incredible. The game's in a really good state. The only difference is that Heroes Esports is kind of in a constant state of flux, but we have quite a few leagues now, and now there's about to be like an opening for another Premier League, at least I guess with more of an NA bend, right? EU's got a pretty good Premier League, but there's a hole to fill now, and I could see one of these leagues rising up and really getting their production on.
Well, even to that note, like on Twitter today, NGS has been very vocal about their continued support of the game, and that was a phenomenal league to play in. Like I really appreciate all the effort. I know I talked about their website a little bit, which what website couldn't use a little improvement these days? I mean, we still have Deathwing on the middle of the Heroes of the Storm website. Like,
I don't think you have to apologize for every critique you said about anything ever, but
no, I stand by what I've said, and I didn't lie. But the reason I bring that up is because NGS is worked by the managers over there, by the community managers. They have to hand enter any changes. They do an immense amount of work to make that league come alive.
So listen, the last time something like this happened, we gained listeners. Like our show grew after 2018. So the tournaments that stick around, the leagues that continue carrying this banner, I think they're going to do just fine.
And chat brings up Heroes Lounge isn't going anywhere either. I'm still a little sore. I loved Heroes Lounge. I thought Heroes Lounge, the balance over there, the matches I had were superior to NGS in my own experience. And I was very sad when they dropped NA support. So I don't talk about them as much because I'm still hurting. I really enjoyed their tournament. That was absolutely my favorite alongside Breakwood and Kai Berries. I got to play along so many phenomenal players, Mockery, Cavalier Guest. Like I had a phenomenal 2 years here. That Wild West story has more parts to it too, but maybe I'll share that on the show we release next week.
Fair. Well, you want to take some more questions before we
Yeah, and from the chat here too, we'll grab you guys up as we
forever.
Yeah.
We got to hear the email bumper one more time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, you can send your emails.
I'm going to drink some coffee out of my Heroes mug. I got it right here.
Cool, let's do it.
Darkness stopped calling.
Does anyone else hear that buzzing?
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Kyle made those bumpers 8 years ago. We've never changed them because they're so good.
Weird, right?
Yeah. Wild. All right. We've got all kinds of messages coming in from the Discord. We'll do some Q&A right here live with you in the chat as well. And we'll keep hanging out until I start crying. How's that sound? That's what we'll limit ourselves.
Very well.
Yeah. All right. Harry wrote in our Discord, said, YouTube were and ITN were my first ever podcast. Was locked out of my house one night in November 2017, and it was -2 Celsius, which is 28.4 Fahrenheit. Thank you for doing the conversion for me.
Yes. Could you compare it to the size of a bus, please?
I was freezing in my car. I typed Heroes of the Storm into Apple Podcasts for something to do, and you guys were the first one on the list. Good to know my SEO powers are strong, Kyle. I then spent nearly 7 hours through the night binging episodes. Oh my God, you didn't get into your house through the whole night? Jesus. I'm glad you're okay, Harry. Been with you ever since through everything from Into the Apex. I think it was Enter the Apex, wasn't it? I honestly don't even remember. That was such a short-lived show.
It was very short-lived, wasn't it?
R2-T2, that's a deep cut. DMGI, Weak Sauce, and many others. Despite dropping off the game last year, I still listened to ITN religiously every week. Thank you so much for all of the time, care, blood, sweat, and tears you put into the show over the years. It will be missed dearly. Can't wait to see what you guys do next. If you liked Weak Sauce, stay subbed.
There you go.
Stay subbed.
That's the tease.
That's my tip. That's a beautiful story and also mildly concerning. I hope you still have all of your fingers and toes. What a way to find a podcast.
Yeah.
What a wild.
Dude, it's insane with how phones, everything, the explosion of YouTube. I mean, there's absolutely still a place for podcasts. People need their eyes and hands. You know, you gotta run to do. You got some work you gotta enter. Like that's where I fell in love with podcasts, was doing data entry downtown Chicago. Like podcasts still are very much an excellent way to consume content. We appreciate y'all being here with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Apex was, I really liked it. I like Battle Royales. I kind of, I feel like I drug you along for it, Kyle.
No, I enjoyed it. I just wasn't very good at it. And with Here's the Storm, I enjoyed being a teacher so much. I loved doing lessons. I loved investigating and exploring. I don't think it's an age thing either. It's just where I put my points on my character sheet. Like I've dumped so much into QWER powers and shift commands that there ain't no way I'm scoring a headshot ever. It's just I got negatives. I got disadvantage in those rules.
Okay. I can understand
I'm okay
that.
like Hades. I can do Hades all right. You know, I
Oh, that's a
top
good
down.
game.
I'm also like super motion sick. It was super lame. So like anything with like spinning, I'm just awful at.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But yeah, that was totally us experimenting, expecting the bottom to fall out of Heroes of the Storm and, needing something to pivot to. Gurin said, I found this podcast doing data entry and moving from downtown Chicago.
Yep.
I'm glad to help you burn those work hours away. I listened to
a lot of hours.
Dude, my last office job, man, I think I listened to on average like 7 podcasts a day. Like I was just burning through podcasts. And now these days people are like, what's your favorite podcast? I'm like, I don't know. I listen to like 3 sometimes.
It's the content producer problem where you consume less content the more you make content, right?
Yeah.
Particularly with like grinding gear and whatnot, the amount of time in editing and production for that sort of video programming really limits freedom of eyes and ears.
Dude, seeing you to come into your own as a video editor over there has been absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Kyle's become a monster editor, everybody.
Something I always appreciated ever since I watched those old making of documentaries for Star Wars. And you see that original footage, kind of the B-roll of the day. And you're just like, oh my God, this movie could have been awful.
How did they make a good movie out of this?
Editing, 100% editing.
Editing and music.
Yep. But I mean, it was that passion that carried into this show. Like, we never got messages from people being like, what do you even have to talk about over there? Because y'all were just enjoying the show. But that passion and that understanding of the importance of having a show fueled this. Like when I was just like you, man, consuming 7 shows a day, getting through my 9 to 10 hours. And if a show canceled, tragic. Absolute a blow to my schedule. What am I going to do with these next 2 hours? I don't even know, man. My day is ruined.
I feel that. I had that last week. There's a couple shows I listen to every week, and a show skipped, and I was really bummed.
Yeah,
because I had to do some design work, and that's the only time I get to listen to a podcast. So, yeah. Lord Commander wrote in and said, Garrett and Kyle were my first podcasters as well. Not as much as a dramatic story. I guess this is in reply to Harry. I just got a new job as a custodian and needed something to kill the time cleaning, so I typed in StarCraft into my podcast section and found StarCast right when it was ending. Oh, no. Which led me to jump over to Into the Nexus, which led me to TAC, which led me to Gamers Inn, Core, etc. You two are a huge part of the podcast I listen to. I like and listen to. Sadly, haven't been listening to much to ITN in months because I couldn't bring myself to play or listen to Heroes News anymore. I hope to hop back in with wherever you guys go next. Boy, that means a lot to hear, Lord Commander. I hope that most of our listeners feel the same way. Dude, I couldn't believe how many messages we got in our Discord today. So our Discord is patron only. I think it's double digits now. The amount of messages have been like, I haven't listened in a while. Can't wait to see what you do next. I'm like, you're still supporting us and you're not even listening to the show? It's pretty common to hear, I listen, but I don't play. Like, because you used to, and maybe you're curious. Like, I get that. Like, you like the host.
Absolutely.
Or like, I don't want to say us. But if you like the host or like you liked the game at one point, you just want to keep up with it because you're curious what's going on with it. Like, I understand that. But to continue supporting Kyle and me, that means the world to us. Thank you so much. So we, do have bills to pay, and this show helps pay those bills. So,
Dude, it's outrageous. I mean, I'm a single income dad. Like, would be impossible without y'all.
yeah. So thanks
floored.
Thanks a ton. Chad, if you want to drop questions for us, go ahead and at AMoveTV. It helps me kind of see who wants to ask a question. Otherwise, I'm going to try and keep my eye on it here. Cougar Dark wrote in and said, question for the show, with the transition to maintenance mode, how likely do you think it is that there will still be community-driven balance patches in the future for Heroes? StarCraft 2 had one released in March that was community-driven by pros, despite it being in maintenance mode for about a year and a half. Does that seem like a hopeful example for Heroes, or are the differences in the Heroes ecosystem versus StarCraft 2 too different to draw any conclusions from that example? No, I don't think at all. I mean, it's built in the StarCraft 2 engine. I think that's a very realistic hope.
I think reaching a consensus will be more difficult because of all the rules and the teams and the many, many players that it takes to create a game outside of a 1v1. I think StarCraft's issues become more glaring quickly in that setting. If the community can find consensus, though, I can see that happening. Absolutely. And hopefully those voices rise to the top. I'm excited to see how the community continues to adapt and grow and what opportunities the community opens up to. If we're leaving the scene, that's an opportunity for other shows and other people to be able to produce. CCL leaving, that's an opportunity for NGS, Heroes League, Heroes Lounge. They should have brought back solo queue. Oh, I accidentally mentioned that. That would have been, I would have loved if they switched that back. I love solo queue. It's such a mind game. I love it.
I was never huge into it, but I want my buddy to have what he wants. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, Kyle.
We'll still have each other. Me and all the other Diamond Leaguers, we'll still have each other. You guys know your names. Some of your names wicked inappropriate, but hey, a shout out to you.
Whose name is wicked inappropriate?
Oh, the people I still solo league with. I
thought you were talking about Cougar Dark here, and I'm like, I don't know. It might not be.
No. It's man. That system is not properly moderated in there. There are some names that you report, and sometimes those names say, "Oh, hey, Kyle," and I go, "Oh, oh my."
Oh, that's great. Oh my goodness. I'm just grabbing some stuff out of chat here, and also if you're on our Discord, at me if you want to ask a question in there, and I'll pull it in. Oh, that's a good.
Ooh, I'm just going to grab this one right now. Coolest piece of hero swag you received.
I'm gonna go grab it. I'll be right back.
All right, he's gonna go grab it. So it is not the luchador mask. The loot box was super cool. Like a full-blown, fold-outable loot box. Right after we had already gone to the summit. Like they had already flown us all the way out there. And they still sent us with a cake too, like a straight up eatable cake that they mailed. And it was delicious, and cookies and everything. Like they knew how to put together production. Ragnaros O's, that was funny. That was amusing. I was a little sad when the Lucio O's came out and they're like, they cribbed it. They stole it. They stole that. I was very sad to see Overwatch taking the hero's creativity in that way. What'd you get, Garrett?
Sorry, what was that?
What'd you get? What'd you grab?
This is honestly like my most treasured piece of anything that's related to a podcast. But this hoodie is what they gave us at the 2.0 summit. Matter of fact,
oh yeah,
sorry, we're gonna go full show and tell. Be right back.
Okay, all right, he's gonna go get the rest of it. Sadly, that sweater was well beloved by my cat, and ended up getting torn to shreds as a result of that. The Patreon games were always a blast. I enjoyed them too. We had a lot of fun over the years hosting those games. the wacky ones, the real ones. Back when we go in Team League and take it real serious. Just shreds, you say. Exactly.
All right. You still with me?
I'm with you.
Cool. Yeah. So we went to I throw nothing away. So I've got my lanyard from the 2.0 summit. It's even got the damn,
nice.
Yeah. So it's got the date. So this is back in March of 2017, and it even has the schedule of events. If you want to remember that day, Kyle.
Yeah.
That was a good day, and they gave us these hoodies. So it's got the Heroes logo on the back with all sorts of memes. Move some stuff so I don't end up putting a hoodie in bourbon that I poured as a joke, but actually have been drinking this show. Yeah, so it's got the 6.5 out of 10, all sorts of logos and memes and jokes on there. But the really special part is that everyone had their name or like their handle if they were a streamer embroidered into the sleeve. But ours said the name of the show. Ours was Into the Nexus, which it choked me up when I saw that. That choked me up because I've always I don't know, I've never been into handles like we introduce ourselves by our real names, and it's like everybody like just and had their handles on there, and so for it to be the name of the show and like represent like us as a unit, man, this thing is so beat up. I love this hoodie. I wear it all the time, and it's honestly starting to look a little grody, but
the one I touch the most, the one I interact with the most is this mug, the Here's the Storm Christmas kind of emoji mug that they sent us. I love this thing. There's lots of blank space, but you know what? I just have a lot of coffee out of this guy. Really love it.
I love Daryl in chat who says they just didn't want to spell Weinzierl.
There's so much. Like there was literally so much. The luchador mask, the wolf jerseys they sent us for the release
the
of
physical freaking box.
Yep, the Ragnaros, like what were those things called? Like it's not a pop figurine, but it was like the Ragnaros.
Oh, I know what you're talking
boy.
about. Yeah, I forget what that was called, but yeah, it was like the precursor to the pop vinyls.
It was absolutely insane the amount of swag we were showcasing to. While you were gone, I was telling everyone about the cake we were sent and the cookies.
I couldn't believe that the cake was good because it was a cake sent in the mail.
Yeah,
and it was freaking delicious, and the cookies were banger. Yeah, dude, I use my mug all the time too. That's my favorite like size mug, like the shape and everything. It just feels nice to touch. I drink coffee out of that damn thing every week. It's starting to wear a little bit.
As a dungeon master, having done this many, many times, the thing I appreciated the most was that with the Ragnaros, there was a note, and that note was hand burned all along the edges. And so I messaged Lashes. I'm like, did you sit in your room, like your office, and burn every single one of these with a lighter and do the whole, like, this is an expression, you like actually take tea bags and then you dunk them on the paper, not like video game tea, like you kind of dip it and like you tea it and you kind of crinkle it up and then you burn the edges to make like this ancient document. And she said, no, there was someone they hired like on Etsy who specializes in burning the sides of documents. So it was fully planned out.
Oh my God.
Budgeted and bought so that we could have this themed piece of paper. Insane.
Dude, yeah.
That's love right there.
That is wild. Yeah, I still got my... Oh, where is it? Oh, I don't know where it is. I have the Ragnaros box somewhere around here. But yeah, I've kept it all, man. I've got all of it. Like I said, it was the first time I ever started getting like, swag. Never got swag before. It made me feel special.
I don't know where community management's at these days. I don't know if they've passed it off on the shows that produce it and just say, well, they'll do it for us or what, but it was a special time.
Well, it's still happening. I can tell you it's still happening in Hearthstone.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, we never heard back. Anytime we ever wrote into to Heroes of the Storm, if we weren't lucky enough to have a direct line to a dev, we never heard back. So I don't know what was going on over there. Not that I needed more T-shirts or anything. It just would have been nice for scheduling people on. But
Dude,
Let's see.
again, I gotta go back to just AZ Jackson messaging me through the the Blizzard client and being like, "Hey, have me on." Like zero work on my end, just him straight up coming at me and being like, "I want to be on the show. I have stuff to talk about."
I have had that one other time, and it was Ben Brode back in the early Hearthstone days. That's every other time I had to ask.
Yeah,
Every other time.
absolute passion. We haven't even talked about the many devs we've had on the show over the years. Like we got to talk to a lot of awesome people.
A ton. An absolute ton. Do you remember the time we were sitting down with, was it D. Warner? It was BlizzCon. We're sitting there. I think it was D. Warner and someone else. I can't remember who the other person was. But we started the interview because they came in and they're like, hey, hell yeah. Into the Nexus. Love you guys. Got questions ready? Yeah? You ready to record? And they seemed like it was good to go. And we're like, yeah, let's start. And we just started the interview. And we're sitting there, we're talking to these, I think this was, what year was this? I think it was 2017, 2016. I think it might have been 2016. It's on YouTube somewhere, but we're sitting there. We're like 10 minutes into this interview. We're moving. We're getting through our questions. We're getting this interview. We're having a great time. And the door, so if you've never done a BlizzCon interview, they have a press area where you go for the interviews, and there's these, like, the best I can describe them is carpeted cubes, like cubicles, but they go really high up.
Right.
Really
they're
high up.
extra large cubicles.
Yeah. They're probably like 10 feet tall, and they're like square rectangle situations. They have a door with like a doorknob on it. And so we're in one of these little pods, and the door to it opens, and I look in the doorway, and it's our good friend Lindsay, who for the longest time worked in PR for Blizzard. She's long since left Blizzard, but we still keep in touch. We're friends. And she just stared lasers at me. She just looks at me and mouths, "You weren't supposed to start without me." And you can actually see the moment if you go back and watch the interview. There's a moment where it's me, and I look kind of off in this direction, and I kind of just go.
Dude,
like
the devs do too. Look at that old video. I didn't know. I'm completely in the zone. I don't even look. But I believe it was D. Warner kind of looked and was like, did like a little like just one of those little hand motions. I mean, like, is this not okay?
Yeah.
We just kept going. It was great.
It was wild.
The one I will always feel bad about was we interviewed Lana Baczynski, and we showed up with a bunch of art questions, and she was just thrilled to pieces to like be like, oh my God, they're not asking me balance. They actually know I'm an artist, and like just really geeking out with us. And on the way out, I'm like, man, you know what I'd love? Baby Dahaka. Like you did with Ragnar, just a little baby Dahaka. I would love that so much. And this like complete tidal wave of exhaustion came over her face that communicated that baby Ragnaros was perhaps the hardest thing they'd ever done, that she was completely floored by her recent work on Stukov. Like, there was nothing worse in this world that I could have asked for in that moment than whatever baby Ragnaros did to that team. And I was like, oh, okay. Thank you. But we got to have Brew on the show. That was a delight.
That was an absolute delight. Bruce sent us a message earlier. It was very kind. He said, we're awesome, and wanted to say thanks for entertaining me and sticking with the game, talking about the game. Your podcast has been a ray of classy light while developing heroes. Thanks. So thank you, Brew.
Yeah.
Thank you for like chatting about the game, like not just with us, but like on Twitter and like talking about your experience with the game, because like we would have had no way of knowing otherwise to approach you and ask you to come on. And then also, you know, hey, thank you for saying yes and coming on.
Well, and as we said in that show, like the art that was done made characters playable. I go back to like Infested Tychus. I go to Death Knight May. Like there are themes that I'm not interested in, but you put that in an Infested skin or a Death Knight skin, I'm there. Like content for this game, gameplay content was provided through the art that was done and made me excited to try heroes I otherwise wouldn't touch. That stuff's huge. It ain't just about dress up.
It's a gorgeous game. It's an absolutely gorgeous game. Weege wanted to know what we think the wildest launch was. Like what, either a hero or a change to the game.
The Diablo event with the 2 maps and 4 heroes, was it? That's when I kind of felt guilty. I was like, "Are you guys okay over there?" I didn't have any ins. The show was still quite young at that point. I think we were a year and a few months into it. But with wasn't it Butcher, Leoric, Li Ming, and Zool like all back to back? Perhaps maybe not Zool, but that was insane. And I just remember seeing that content gauntlet being unleashed. And this was before we were talking about burnout and crunch across so many developers. It was Kavrazim and Johanna. That sounds right. Yeah. Just absolutely kind of made me a little sick.
That event was wild. The Overwatch crossover where you could unlock things in both games by playing both games. That was a huge moment where it felt like, holy shit, this is just a giant party.
Yeah.
Like, it made both of those games feel like BlizzCon because everyone I knew was playing both. I was getting texts. It's so rare I get like real life communication from people about video games these days. Like, everyone I know has stopped, basically playing. Like, in my real life, like my friends, my family don't really play these games anymore.
Oh, dude, my Steam list is friends 4 years not logged on or more.
Yeah.
Like, there's some sadness in the world there.
A couple of my friends, like, who haven't played in like 10 years, are recently really back into WoW again. It's hilarious because they're going through their bags and shit, and they're finding stuff from Burning Crusade that's just been sitting there. Anyway,
wow.
I digress. It felt like BlizzCon. Like, everyone was playing, all my friends. Like, it was just this big party. Everyone was always like, let's party up. Oh, I haven't unlocked the skin yet. And then it's like, oh, I'll help you. Let's get in. Let's play some games. Like, everyone was just frothing at the mouth, stoked about both of the games. It got me to play a ton of Overwatch. And I was pretty into Overwatch in the early days. But, yeah, that was huge. I mean, 2.0 was my first thought. 2.0 was just ridiculous. I'm a big interface nerd. I love menus. I love typography. I love figuring out UI. I love how games do menu systems. And for 2.0 hits and just you idling in the game is suddenly not the same anymore. Like, and I was so into the emojis. Still am. I love them. I think that's one of the most absurd things they ever added to the game was like all those damn emojis that came in with 2.0. I still got my sticker sheet that came in that chest that I showed earlier. I'm like, I'm afraid because I'm like, once I use these, they're gone forever. I don't know what to put them on.
I framed it. I just couldn't.
You framed the sticker sheet?
Yeah.
That's really smart. I should do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I should do that. I'm going to stop drinking this because I'm going to be like, dude, we should go get tattoos. Like the Lord of the Rings is ending.
Pick a picture out there. Yeah, no, they even sent us like in that same box, I believe. It was temporary tattoos. And I put the Urel one on my middle back and people asked if it was real.
Oh, that's great. Oh,
and that
that's
picture
great.
somewhere on Twitter in very low quality because that was a camera phone from 2017. And you don't think about it, but camera phones were really bad back then. The photos did not survive. And that just the series of GIFs that have been in some of these events. Like I said, I was concerned about the crunch, but I loved Infernal Shrines. I think Infernal Shrines is the best map they ever made, and I love Skeleton King. I think that Leoric is such fun to play. I love Butcher too, but he just doesn't work like he used to. Skeleton King, man. I love that guy.
I know you do. That's how I feel about
Augur a lot,
Zagara.
too.
That's how I feel about Zagara, man. Like, anytime I lock in a game with Zagara and I hear that damn voice, I'm just like, I'm about to have fun even if we lose. No one having more fun in a losing game than a Zagara. It's like, I'm just going to manage my creep and I'm just going to throw things from the back line. I'm not going to die and I'm having a good time. It's great. It's great. Let's see. Zero Lambda says, we'll always love you guys. I shifted from ITN to grinding gear when that started, and it's been a treat. Happy to see where stuff goes from here. It's gotta feel good to G. I think I missed something. I'm excited for what's next, man. For us, like, at the end of the day, not much changes. I'm gonna still be making cool shit with you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. If you aren't already following our exploits over at youtube.com/amovetv, I highly recommend it. But we're going to get right back to podcasts on Thursdays once I'm back from my travels in 2 weeks. Gonna be a good time.
I think that about brings it to a close here. Chat, we'll hang out with you all for a bit. Happy to answer questions we may have come across on the show. Again, let you all know kind of the update that may have happened over an hour ago for you now, but I think that's it, man.
Yeah. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Well,
you gotta give me the right outro, man. I can't exit.
Wonderful. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, hold on. I need to do an update because we got patrons during this.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We need to give credit where credit is due, and
Absolutely.
Speaking about timing, Patreon recently revamped their interface, and I don't know where anything is anymore. So this might take a minute. This is great radio.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, the silence is easiest to edit out. Plus, it's at the end. So we can,
That's fair.
give you some space.
That's fair. Why does Patreon revert to patron and not creator when you have a creator account? It's the worst. I'm going to shut up now.
Good seeing y'all here. As I said, stick around. We'll do some Q&A here before we take down the stream or anything like that. Mediva's the worst. Discuss. I think it's Junkrat round here.
It's Junkrat.
Yeah.
And then oh goodness, we got another what guys? We got another producer during this. Kyle.
Oh yeah, look at that. Wow.
Yeah, oh my god. That's extremely kind. Thank you. I'm adding your name into the thank yous here. Holy crap. Y'all are gonna make me cry. I will not cry. I haven't cried yet. I'm not gonna cry.
Later.
Later.
Crying's healthy, Not all tears are sad.
It is. It is. But again, it's like this doesn't really feel like it's over. It's just this version of it is over.
Yeah.
This feels more. I'm a big Doctor Who fan. This feels like a regeneration more than it feels like an ending.
So that would mean that the HGC letter was our "I'm not ready to go" season of.
Yes, except he did actually go. It's
eventually,
just what he says before he goes.
Well, no, there's this whole thing where like he almost transforms, then he sticks around for another season or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't want to go is literally the last thing he says before he regenerates.
Oh, okay.
That's David Tennant's final words as the Doctor.
I mean,
we're being huge nerds. Any Whovians here?
I mean, the show. That's where I get heavy, man. Like, I'm with everybody. It was a damn good game. And what they did to it was insane. Like, it's so bizarre to hang up on such a good game. Damn freaking good game. So many moving pieces, so much strategy, so much possibility. And they threw it out. It's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Yeah, man. Who was sorry? Now you've got me thinking. I just gotta think. I just gotta look this up real quick. Oh yeah, my favorite line from a Doctor Who regeneration that I think is rather applicable here. Dear Matt Smith, who warms my heart every time I see him, even when I watched a movie with him recently where he's a bad guy. When he exited Doctor Who, he said, "I will always remember when the Doctor was me, and I will always remember when the Nexus was us."
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, as always, folks, Into the Nexus is supported by our wonderful patrons, supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. Huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Sean B. and Mike R. You two have been holding it down for a really long time. Thank you so much for your generous support.
Absolutely.
And during this final episode, I don't know if this is an out-the-door tip or you're really excited about what's coming next. I am okay with either. We got 2 new producers, Ross A. and Zero Lambda. Thank you so very much. That is wildly kind of you. And we also got a new patron during this, which is Daniel M. So Daniel, thank you for signing up. Enjoy the Discord. Into the Nexus. Hey, we're usually live Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/amovetv. I'm going to be gone for a while, but we'll see you on a Thursday very, very soon, and there will be podcasts hitting the podcast feed while I'm out to kind of give you a taste of what's to come. Follow the show on Twitter at ITNcast. There's some tweets over there getting a lot of play today. If I had just known, you just had to put a game in maintenance mode to finally have a successful social media presence. Jeez.
Jeez.
Would have done it a long time ago. You can follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art. There are 2 R's and 2 T's in Garrett. I trust you know how to spell art. You can find my graphic design work at createwithgarrett.com, and you can find Kyle and me continuing to create content. It's been happening this entire time. This isn't something new. It's been happening for almost a year now over at youtube.com/amovetv, where we are doing Grinding Gear, our Final Fantasy XIV and other grindable game video project. And some of that DNA will end up in our new show. So stay subbed to this podcast feed to see what happens next. But Kyle, dude, where can folks find you?
You can find me over at youtube.com/amovetv, that Grinding Gear channel. A labor of love, a labor of work, a absolute joy playing through Final Fantasy XIV. Looking forward to y'all checking that out. And as Garrett mentioned, stay subbed right here on this feed for that upcoming project, the transformation. Everything I do is over at kylefergusson.com. And that's all for now, man.
I'm not going to go name by name because I will definitely forget somebody, but to all of our guests, devs, players, personalities, and otherwise, thank you so much for coming by. Thank you to our patrons that allowed us to pay our guests. For almost this entire show's run, we've been able to pay our guests for coming on, which is the coolest thing ever. And we wouldn't have been able to do that without your support.
Oh, let's go back in time and let's at least say, Dunk Train, Jeff Kanata, thank you. Thank you for being a huge part of our show. Yeah, not Paradox as well. Like, now I'm naming names and I'm gonna forget names, but I'm just saying, like,
I didn't want to
there was a time where, like, 2 weeks a month, you guys funded an absolute rodeo of fun on this show.
Yeah, it was awesome. Couldn't have done it without you. And thank you to the listeners. We just, if you've never been a patron, but you listen, you helped us out. So thank you. And we'll see you next week. So until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.
Oh, got a little misty there. Got a little misty there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Good luck, have fun, don't die. Thanks, Lashes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of people who were coming by during different parts of that show.
Yeah, that was wild. That was quite the revolving door of past Into the Nexus guests. Y'all are amazing.
I definitely encourage anybody who missed it to give it a watch from the beginning. We touch all the bases, but I, at the end here, do want to once again, reiterate, the servers aren't going anywhere. Play the game. You can still love the game. This isn't a declaration that you are playing the wrong game, that you're spending your free time poorly. Like, nothing about this should feel like an attack on you and what you choose to do. This is Microsoft might still do something. There's always possibility. But that's a year away. And this show is immensely fun. I love working with my buddy Garrett here. And we're going to keep making awesome content. But that's going to require a bit of a change up. And I'm sad about that. But keep playing the game. Really, truly enjoy it. It is an awesome, awesome game. It's the best of its kind. And as you saw, I heard me rant just 15 minutes ago. What they did was wrong, man.
I almost said this before the show, and I meant to mention it during, and I totally forgot. I had this feeling before we hit go, like we played the intro music, that it's such a rare feeling. And it happens so few times in life, but it's that feeling of I am about to go do something, and things will not be the same afterwards. And the last time I remember feeling that is when I got married. Maybe when we bought our house. That was really stressful. I think I was just sweating bullets that entire experience. But before I got married, I had absolute butterflies. Absolute butterflies. It's that feeling. And that's what I had before this episode. So it's bittersweet. I've been talking about it on social media. I've been talking about it on Discord. It's like bittersweet is such a perfect way to sum it up, because I'm really stoked about what we're doing next. But there's comfort in the familiar, and I'm going to miss this show in its form. I'm so glad I don't need to, I'm so glad I'm going to still be podcasting with you, because I wouldn't be able to freaking make it through these words otherwise.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's that way of life got slowly eroded. I had to cut back on streams for other projects. Doing the 5, 4, what would that been total? 6 sometimes. Here's the Storm streams a week at its height. That was unreal. And a lot of that, like, real dedication, that came in 2019. That came, after the announcement there for a good 9 months. There was just all power on these engines. I had a phenomenal time. And it was tough seeing that decrease for business choices as well. Like, my time had to be valued in different ways, particularly as a dad. And I had to cut back on the evening Here's the Storm streams, though I love them and I still love the solo queue and all that. So while we find ourselves sad today, it is nice to have the announcement be official and not feel like we're stringing on anymore. And we made it to the end,
My anger aside, and that I think that letter, and most letters in regards to Heroes of the Storm, should be a case study on how not to communicate with people like you care about them. I'm thankful for anything at all. I'm really glad that they just said it, yo, maintenance mode. Cool. Moving on. Kyle and Garrett until the end of time. Garrett and Kyle hunt 100years.com. You and me, Kyle. You and me, Kyle. Garrett and Kyle 100years.com.
Yep.
Till the end of the universe, Kyle.
We have an insane amount of fun. We're really looking forward to, the shackle's finally off. That's a way to put it. I agree. And by the way, if you have any questions, we went over a lot of different topics over the course of the show. Happy to answer them, in and out of, we didn't even talk about Invent Global today.
Oh yeah. Jesus, man. Yeah. It's feeling gnarly.
Feeling esports apocalypse.
Feeling gnarly. Feeling rough. Yeah, I retweeted Tim Rizzo, who wrote all of the fantastic Heroes of the Storm articles over at Invent Global, because he's now without work. I know he's a freelance writer, and you always work everywhere, but I think he referred to Invent Global as his rock, and if you're a freelancer or you're a contractor, I'm a contractor. Yeah, I got those things that's I kind of depend on that.
Right.
So that sucks. That's rough. I feel for him, and I feel for the whole staff. Who would be Rick and who would be Morty?
Depends.
I think we interchange, man. It depends. We both have our panic days where we both have days where we're Morty, and we both have days where we're Rick.
I think you're Rick when it comes to a lot of business decisions. And we gotta do this. We gotta run some ads. We gotta find some sponsors. I'm like, oh gee, I don't know. Oh,
I'm gonna alter that with I used to be that. Kyle used to never want to make money. Kyle was in the very early days. Kyle's I'm very afraid of monetizing this, and I'm just yeah, but we're taking time out of our workday to do it.
Yeah, well,
come around on
the
that.
art, and I graduated theater, so I was very much it'll just happen. That's someone else's job to put price tags on things. I can't be thinking about that, Rick.
It doesn't happen when you are your own boss. That's not how it works.
Though sometimes we do a reacts video, and I'm like, come on, Garrett, we gotta make a reacts video. It's YouTube. We gotta do the YouTube thing.
Ooh, gee, I hate reacts videos. Yeah, that was me being the artiste. Yeah, which it ended up being really fun to make. I see why people make them, and people really liked them. So I'm not going to argue with it was fun to make and people enjoyed watching it. I'm not going to argue with
Hotslogs is fine. Hotslogs is fine. Look over there, asking Hotslogs.
It's going nowhere.
Yep.
I talked a little bit about it during the show, that as long as it pays for itself, as long as it keeps itself paid for, it will stick around. So, yeah, and keep using it. Keep uploading your replays, because that site lives and dies based on everyone uploading their replays. So download the uploader. We do still keep it up to date. Sometimes we're a little slow because we only there's two of us. There's two programmers on the team working on it. I mostly just make sure everything's paid for and bills aren't late. But yeah, keep using Hotslogs, because I'm honestly I'm gonna keep playing, and I'm gonna keep using Hotslogs to see if things shift.
Yeah.
As this game, gets into the long game. Garrett, for some reason, Disco Biscuit wants to know my favorite Green Day album. That's a hard one. It changes daily. It used to be Kerplunk. I think these days it's American Idiot. Hamburgers or hot dogs as staple summer grill food. Honestly, I usually need both. But if I can only have one, it would be a burger.
Agreed, but it's a capacity sort of thing. I have room for a hamburger and a hot dog and no more. And if it's just hamburgers, I'm going to go for a second hamburger. I'm going to be sick. And if it's just hot dogs,
I get bored of hot dog flavor after a while.
Yeah. So
I can barely do two hot dogs. Nah. No. Oh, God almighty.
Good to see you, Tree Billet Hears. I know the game is not over, but part of why I love the game was because learning what was new, fun things by tuning into ITN and going out and trying it. I am sad that's not going to be a thing. I feel like players like me who need progression won't last too long. I feel you. The balance as content is a very real thing, and esports provided some of that influence. And we mentioned that on the show. When CCL did its announcements, that's when our talk started. It wasn't just today in the maintenance that we decided to throw this. The two pillars that sustain a game balance in esports, in my mind, they had fully broken down.
Yeah, and it had come up before that. Just when things were slowing down, we had conversations of do we keep it going? Because we were really digging. We were still having fun, and that's why it didn't escalate to a particularly serious conversation, but it's in the back of our minds. Let's see here. What's my litmus test? Cocktail when trying out a new bar? Old fashioned. I ordered an old fashioned. If I see them reach for a sugar packet and drop a slice of orange in the bottom of the glass, I'm never going back to that bar again.
A sugar packet?
Yeah.
That sounds not designer.
It's
I'm
disgusting.
not sure what the right word is.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. Yeah, no. If you mash up cherries and an orange in the bottom of your old fashioned, I'm never going to your bar again.
Okay.
Yeah. Never. That's it. We out of there. Where's the bratwurst? I mean, listen. A lot of times I'm not cooking at the cookout.
Exactly.
If I'm cooking, it's brats.
It's a question you ask in your mind, not out loud. Because you want there to be brats.
Depends. How well do I know the person? If it's a very close friend, I will 100% be like, what the shit, man? No bratwurst?
No, Brad? What are you doing here? These got corn syrup in this? What the hell are you trying to sell me?
I nag my friends. I will own up to. I'm 100% that friend. I like you if I'm playfully a dick. That means I like you. I am very polite with people that I'm afraid of, usually. Or not close to. Let's see.
It's good to see you. Will there be one last patron night? We'll see. We got to get back in town. There's a lot of just raw work that needs to be done.
Yeah, the timing's rough because I'm about to go to the Keys with Katie for 10 days. It's a wonderful trip. I can't wait. It's gonna be a while. I'm gonna be gone for a little bit. Max wants to know the weirdest time someone recognized us in public. You talked about this recently on the Final Fantasy stream.
I did. Yeah. On a cruise ship.
Where on the cruise ship did they recognize you?
They were, I think, 2 rows behind me while we watched the sort of cruise ship play that was going on.
Oh, okay.
And my laughter gave it away. They heard me laugh and they went, "What? Who's that?" So then they kind of hung out by the exit and caught me there.
Interesting. Okay. I got recognized. I've only been recognized outside of BlizzCon twice. I guess the weirdest one. It was very pleasant. but it was just super unexpected and kind of caught me by surprise, was we were actually just about to go to BlizzCon, but Katie and my anniversary is Halloween. We got married on Halloween. And so usually, like back when BlizzCon was still rolling, we would always do something like right before BlizzCon. And I think it was our first anniversary. I had a buddy that was working for the hotel chain that owns the Gaylord resorts, those big, ridiculous resorts. So he worked there, and so I could book a room there for like the price of a Holiday Inn. And I was like, yeah, give me a couple nights at the Gaylord because we have one in Orlando. It's not that far.
Isn't that where we did our first MLG?
Yes. Yes, it was. You're right. MLG Orlando was at the Gaylord Palms in Orlando.
Yeah.
Shit. You're right. Yeah, we got the photo of us and the dude from our community that played in it that we foot their bill to go play. We're awkwardly standing in front of one of their very elaborate fountain features. I can find this photo. We want to do some show and tell for a little bit.
Yeah, bring it.
You know, I never delete anything off Facebook, so I will find this photo. But
while you dig up that, continue your story.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, no, Katie and I were staying at the Gaylord, and I want to say it was like the week before BlizzCon that year, so it was 1 year. It would have been 2016. And yeah, we were just walking around. They have this huge, massive indoor atrium that the roof is as tall as the entire resort. So I think it's like 10 or 12 stories or whatever. So that's where the freaking glass roof is. And so we're walking around the atrium, and someone's just like, "Are you Garrett?" And yeah, they were a fan of, I think it was Angry Chicken is what they recognized me from. But we talked for a little bit, talked games, and that was that. They were a lovely, lovely person. It was a very chill engagement. It was nice, but I was just not expecting it. Yeah. So if I missed any, I'm not looking for a photo, so keep your eye on the questions.
Okay. I'll go through the. There was a question. I think it scrolled by a bit, but is this the final CCL season? We don't know. Several organizations are leaving.
No, it's been confirmed.
Wasn't that by just a tweet though, or did the organization?
Well, the message says one last time. The official message says one last time, and then Chilrog basically said it's over in a reply to someone.
Right, but that's for Chili Mountain. Then Workhorse got on and said, we have more information to share in the future when asked if it was the final one. So currently they have not officially confirmed, though both Chili Mountain and Oxygen Esports are out. So two big organizations for all the CCL will not be going forward. And I would expect that's pretty telling.
Gotcha.
There's a good chance. Are you guys still playing on the core server V Rising? I'm really sad I dropped off V Rising. I think
I fed your castle the other day.
Thank you.
You should go give it some blood.
I should get in there. Honestly, the game design systems with touching covens. They're not called covens, but they should be called clans. Touching someone else's like research desk and seeing other people's castles, I kind of burned out and was like, oh, I've already seen everything and left. But I think the boss battles are phenomenal. I think it's a great game. I'd be happy to restart it again in the future, but I've bounced off for a bit.
Shame.
Favorite hero of all time? That's a good question.
Zagara.
I got so stupid good at Tychus for a time. I will always love and appreciate that hero. That was just... I've never felt better at a video game than when I was amazing at Tychus.
I might agree with you on that. I might agree with... Oh, dude, I'm finding some freaking gold photos here.
Oh, yeah?
I hope you're ready for this. All right, so let's see here. This is going to be the oldest photo I show. So this is from 2011.
Okay.
This was us at MLG Orlando with the StarCast listener that we brought out to play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This was
yeah,
freaking 11 years ago.
I love that shirt.
Yeah. Oh my God, those shorts. I now understand why you dress the way you do in Final Fantasy.
I basically dress exactly like I do in Final Fantasy. Yeah. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Explorer's bag, button down, and shorts.
I think that's the heaviest I ever was, by the way. I went on a
That's
pretty
pretty funny.
hardcore diet shortly after I looked at this photo. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the longest my hair ever was, too. And then along those lines, like just a few days later, but on the other side of the country, let's see. I need to, hold on. Let me open up this over here. Go to desktop so I can see larger thumbnails. So I'm make sure I'm dragging the right shit in here. This was our first ever meetup in the bowling alley, Kyle. This was 2011 BlizzCon.
Yeah.
And we went to the bowling alley with like 4 other people that listened to StarCast.
Yeah.
And this was me sitting on your lap, which at the weight I was then would have crushed you.
Oh, and this photo's actually mirrored years later at the 2.0.
Yes. I never really thought about that, but you're absolutely right. Let's see. Let's see here. Do you remember CreateCon?
I do.
We put on our own con in Florida. We did a live into Nexus. The day after, we all went and got really drunk at Disney. And we were at Epcot an hour past closing. And that is this photo.
Yeah.
We were so sweaty.
Yeah, we were all pretty disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, oh God, that's going to be one of my fondest into the Nexus memories for sure. That was a good time. Oh, Lash just says, wait a second, I have a very similar. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Disco, yeah. If you were asking about Green Day, there you go. Rocking my Green Day shirt. Let's see here. Oh, and here's 2.0. Here's all of us hanging at the 2.0 summit. Bo, you still hanging out in there? You still hiding in there, Bo?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Is John here?
Yeah.
I know I saw some familiar faces in chat earlier. I don't know if they're still hanging around.
I got Multizord hanging out there.
I think this was like 4 a.m.
I believe so, yes. This is when you finally said, all right, I can't go any further. I'm going to bed for 2 hours.
Yeah, because my flight was at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So I was just like, it's pointless. We got in so late. Like sleeping was pointless. Yeah. Good times, man. Good times. Oh, and this is one of my favorites. This was way, way after the death of StarCast. But our good buddy, Ryan, who works at Blizzard, showed up to our meetup at BlizzCon in this janky old StarCast t-shirt.
Yeah.
This is 2015 because my hair, I can place it. So I still had the bleach stripe there, but I dyed it away for the wedding because that was the haircut I had when I had the bleach stripe in it. And that's 2015. StarCast had been dead for at least 2 years at that point. So that was fun. That was a good time.
I'm wearing my Rainer zip up that we got from one of the
Jinx.
Jinx guys messaged us and he's like, "Love the show. Here's some gift cards."
Yeah. Guy from Jinx hit us up and hooked us up. I've got that hoodie too. I love that hoodie. I can place my hair, Garrett 2022. Thanks, not paradox. Is tallness required for being a podcaster? No.
It does seem a trait, though.
No, yeah. Look at John. Sorry, John.
I think he gets it a lot from Scott. So
Scott Scott makes me feel short. I don't usually feel short, but I feel short when I'm around Scott. Yeah, Scott's a monster. This is just one of my favorite photos that just encapsulates my joy of not being on an airplane anymore. This is like minutes upon me showing up to the 2.0 summit. Like I had just gotten to the hotel. I already have a cocktail in hand, clearly.
I don't know what my hand. I have this like, "What the hell is this?" expression about my hand there.
Oh yeah. That's just. I look at that and it makes me think of how happy I am when I get where I'm going. That's what I think of there.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was fun. I was nerve wracked too because we were gonna meet everybody. We were into J-How. Everyone that could possibly be on my television, watching Heroes every weekend. I got a little nervous.
Yeah,
A
man.
little starstruck. Listening to Dreadnought do his preaching about the imbalance of Lunara from on high up a staircase down at us. Like there was.
Who was he talking to? He was talking to
Duck Train about it.
Oh, it wasn't
we were
a dev.
hanging
It
out
was
near
Dunk.
Dunk Train. Yeah.
You're right. No, I
But
thought it was
he
a
was-
dev.
he
I
was-
think it was Ken Eric. I think it was a dev.
Was Ken Eric there too? Maybe.
Ken Eric was there. Ken Eric was still there. By the way, I found Ken Eric's business card the other day. I was cleaning up my office.
Oh, nice.
I don't think he's at Blizzard anymore, is he? Otherwise, I would
don't
go
think
find
so,
it and
no.
show it, but I don't want to show it because it's got like his email and shit on there.
Yeah.
if he's
No,
still there.
I don't.
I think Ken Eric's gone. He's at second dinner. Oh hell, good for him, man.
Oh, is he? Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, that dude, Snap kicks ass. Snap's a damn good game. I'm really enjoying it. That thing saved me during COVID, dude. I played so much Snap. Holy shit. Because it bounced off of Immortal real fast.
Yeah, man. I have I shared. You can share this with the audience, but man, like this is one reason I'm overcome with emotion today.
Oh my
because
god.
this was my closet office that I built because we had to downsize after HGC.
Oh my god. Oh,
We had to move.
Myself. Hold up.
This is part of that Wild West I was talking about. Like, this is where I recorded all my shows from. This was the space available to me.
Oh
And
my
now
word.
I find myself solo income in my office. I have a whole room to myself. My cat's right there cleaning his paws. Like, I got space, new camera. Like, thank you so much, everybody, for sticking with us.
You have upgraded, sir.
Yeah.
You have upgraded.
That was the closet there.
That's extremely moving. I, however, want to ask, why in God's name is there green on the desktop?
Because I made a standing desk in the closet, and both of those are diaper boxes.
Oh, wow.
So I put the green over them so I wouldn't have to mentally connect that I was using diaper boxes to prop up my self-made standing desk.
Oh,
and this is where we started like so many different projects. This was the office where I got involved with Heroes Heart. This is where we interviewed AC Jackson for the first time. Like that little closet. Hey man, it was soundproof. You know, it did the job. But during that time, you all continue to support through into the Nexus. Into other projects.
Wild.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. So if anyone's curious about where this photo came from, so this is the meme I made, knowing we were gonna put ITN to rest today. Kyle, I got married out on family property in the middle of nowhere. And Kyle flew out early. A bunch of my friends did. Jocelyn was there too. And helped prep the land because we had a massive flood the day before we were supposed to get married. So we had to we had to bring in drainage stuff and dig trenches. And yeah, this is Kyle and I out there digging a hole. So I think this was to run cable out to the DJ trailer. Is what this was
that's
for?
right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is not the only thing photoshopped here is the tombstone. We are actually there together digging holes. that's yeah. So, you know what else we could do, Kyle? We've got some photos here that are from a recent birthday wishing. That's some nice member berries.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the wedding, here's proof that the wedding happened, even though it doesn't have a bride in it. But here's Kyle and me dancing together. That was a good time.
Oh yeah. I always make sure I bring it for a wedding.
Oh yeah.
Someone's got to be on that floor.
I think a very early episode of Into the Nexus has a photo from your wedding as the episode image.
That would be correct, right? Yeah, because that was right around when I moved out of Chicago. What a Hail Mary that was back in the day.
Yeah. Kyle's got some dance moves, y'all. You do not understand. Like, you don't get it. We may look like we're joking around there, but like Kyle's like kept the dance floor alive.
It's my contribution. You know, I'm not footing the bill. I'm not paying anybody's way. But the least I can do when I go to a wedding is make sure that someone's out on that dance floor, giving it their all. And when you see a lanky body gyrating, you go, you know what? I could do that.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Here is
That's
when
okay.
we visited Blizzard, making dumb faces, pointing at a Blizzard sign.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That was a fun day.
that was a fun day. we got to tour all around. I stole all of their stolen isn't the right word, but they're freely available. But all their postcards where you could write reviews as an employee if you wanted to leave a comment.
I didn't know
I got
you.
one
I
of
didn't know
each.
you grabbed those.
Yeah, no, I grabbed all of them because each one had a different like. What do you feel? Do you want to commend someone in the office here? What do you feel someone did outstanding? Is there something you feel? And like there was like 10 of them, and I just grabbed every single one of them. I still got them in a box over there somewhere.
This one will always have. This was shot on like I think an iPhone 3GS, which is why it looks like butt. But this will always be a special memory. This is the first time Blizz ever put me up in a hotel, and it had bunk beds.
Oh yeah,
So we were all drinking that night in the bunk bed, and you can see Kyle back there next to Katie, and that's our good friend Brian next to me with the man bun. He did the original intro music to Into the Nexus. And also,
Sure
if you're
did.
an Angry Chicken fan, he did the Angry Chicken music that you hear at the beginning of every episode. So that's Brian. That's our musically talented mutual friend who's actually how I met you is through Brian. He was
That's
your
right, yeah,
college roommate.
my college roommate.
Yeah. We're just going to tuck that down there. Tuck that down there for safekeeping. That's I remember Katie and I getting into the hotel room, and we were like literally like walking down the hallway, it's a hotel hallway, and we're like halfway joking, but still kind of feeling it like, wow, we really made it. Like, holy shit. Like Blizz put Garrett up in a hotel. How nice is that? And then we walk in, and it's a damn nice room. But then we look in the back and we're like, are those bunk beds? So yeah, for some reason there was bunk beds.
Well,
and-
Anaheim was packed, right? Like, I mean, whatever room you could get.
Yeah. Yeah. God, man. Yeah. The freaking inflation of hotel rooms when BlizzCon comes to town is just bananas. Because Katie and I stay. Oh, Lash has sent the photo, Kyle.
Sent the photo.
The photo. So if this is the original, circa 2011, Kyle holding Garrett. Then at the Heroes 2.0 Summit, we recreated
Reborn.
that photo. I miss my mohawk.
Yeah, there it is.
I miss my floppy mohawk. I enjoyed that haircut.
The energy only grew.
As did your hair.
That is true.
My
Yeah,
hair
the
was-
long hair went away after having a kid. I was not going to bend down into a crib and get slapped in the face with hair every
Yeah.
time, which, I'm not a big picture taker. All my photos start with the birth of my son, really. I'm going through my own. I do not have anything. I have, what is this? Okay, this would be the release of Orphea. Oh, yeah. So this would have been photos taken moments before tragedy strikes. Here was us doing our Orphea release stream.
Oh. Wait, before tragedy strikes.
Yeah, because Orphea would have released. This was Chris and I streaming together, and we would have been right before the HGC announcement.
Oh,
Because I believe Orphea patch came out, and then it was straight into HGC
So this is
right after that.
Oh my god, you delightful nerds.
Yeah.
Chris could pull off black lipstick.
Yeah, no, she does a good job.
This is so different from how I know Kristen to dress, and I'm just like, she could pull that off.
That's why I'll always be offended that they banned my channel while we were dressing perfectly fine for family. They were concerned about us being sexy. That's the level they were going to ban us for. We're way more sexy than that. You can share this photo because I just love it, because this will always be 2019 for me.
Oh, is this when you found the toilet paper?
Yep, when we found the toilet paper circa 2019.
Oh my word.
Early 2020, I think it was. This is my ability to provide for my family. I'm in the back office there, in that little office I just showed off. But damn it, I could get some toilet paper for my family.
You came home like a champion with a package of toilet paper. Honey, we can wipe like kings. That's the big moments, the big like bombastic moments, BlizzCons and going to summits and stuff like that stuff's always going to stick with me. But the thing I think about the most is I do not mean this to be as cheesy as it is, but like our friendship, like getting to grow up together, like become men, husbands, and adults in that order. I was not an adult when I was a man. having to become responsible adults, having to figure out business, like, Jesus Christ. I remember the first year that we had like the successful Patreon and like trying to figure out like, shit, what do you mean I have to figure out taxes? Back then, up until very recently, I was having a family member do my return. You know, they work for H&R Block. They know what they're doing. But I remember the first year I called my uncle, my poor uncle. He's a saint. I owe him so much. I'm trying to explain to him how we make money. And I've got this hand like typed Excel spreadsheet. By the way, I still use Excel. I refuse to learn QuickBooks. And he was just like, what? Like, and we figured it out. And now I've got that shit on like lockdown. Like I know what I'm doing now, but God, that first year I had to like figure out the business side of things. And like how do I tell the government that Kyle got paid this much so that I don't have to pay taxes on it? Like I didn't know how any of that worked. I'd never done it before, and it was I remember I was so stressed out, but I just remember being on the couch one night after having spent the whole day trying to figure that out. And just like looking at Kay, I'm like, this is the coolest problem I've ever had. Like, I can't believe that I'm struggling with this, but it's all because we're actually making money, noteworthy money from podcasting. Like, that was wild. And like looking back at it now, like that first year was pretty modest. Like we had a lot of growth after that, but like, my God, at the time it was the coolest thing that ever happened. That's some cool stuff. So thanks for the support, everybody.
Yeah.
Not that it's going away, but you know, it's
no,
a big day for heroes. If you're ever going to have this talk, today's the day.
Exactly. Again, like, you know, there's no reason you shouldn't go on loving the game. We still love the game, and we're really excited for what's to come. But that leaves us just outside of the sadness, the frustration, and everything else that, you know, Blizzard's actions about the game make us feel. We appreciate the hell out of y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for the ride.
Every single one of you.
Hope you'll continue, because we're going to continue.
Yeah. Stay subbed. You're going to see the ITN feed change, but it's going to stay there. You won't have to resub to anything else. And enjoy the podcast next week. We're going to have something for you. So, all right. Going to bring the stream down now. Otherwise, I'm going to keep drinking this whiskey. And we're going to get a little
drink
shitty.
it off stream now.
We're going to get a little shitty. Yeah. Oh, no. This is getting put away. I poured way too much.
No, it's the same Patreon, same feed. Like, stay tuned. Stay on everything you got. We really appreciate the support. We'll be letting you know in the Discord. But again, it's going to be about 2 weeks while we release those other projects, get things rolling. You'll see what's up.
Yep. Next 2 weeks is going to be the Garrett and Kyle podcast vacation, which is going to be looser podcast episodes that are, you know, kind of teeing up what our next show is going to be. But it's going to take a lot of the energy of Weak Sauce, of what Into Nexus has been for the last year, and even a little bit of, we're going to cut a little cloth off of Grinding Gear, and maybe a lot of cloth in some cases, and we're going to bring it into this new thing. So it's going to be you're going to enjoy it. So I think you'll enjoy it. I'm not going to tell you what you're going to like.
That's the whole point of like all this. You do you play what you want.
Yeah,
it's your time.
Yeah, if you want our next project, keep it right here. If you want to keep supporting us, keep it on the Patreon, because we're gonna rebrand both things. Because at the end of the day, it is me and Kyle, and we're not gonna stop doing stuff together. So we're keeping it. We're keeping the feed, and we're keeping the Patreon. So check us out there. Thanks so much, everybody, and we'll see you real soon.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.